they then enforce it on people to accept the pictures or whatever, because they go to the length to prove the experience they have got to be real. They don't allow the spirit that is using them to prove himself, or the spirit to prove itself. They rather try to prove the spirit by, taking their own means and measures to fulfill the work of the spirit. The spirit does not want, you can't do things like that for the spirit. If you claim the power that you claim that the spirit has got, then you should allow that power, or that spirit with that power, to work on its own. And you just be part of the people to what? Observe and even believe them more. Because you are just like that person seeking. And if you honestly want real answers, you can live the rest of your life believing the lie and die in lying, and knowing that what you've believed in, you made it up. It was just a dream. It was just that, and there was no solid proof, and you just have to hold on to it because it feeds your family. It fed you. It fed your extended family. It did that and that, and so you use that because it makes you feel sober, or it makes you feel calm, or because of the being in that organization or the group, or because of the ways or the praise goes. I'm happy with the praises and all that, so I have to hold on to it because sometimes it gives me a sense of hope. What hope does it give you? There is no hope in something which is hopeless. You have thinking that it gives you hope, and that doesn't mean that it gives you hope. The fact that we all think of having hope, we all think about hopeful things, but it doesn't. We don't end up in that hope that we think. We all dream, but we don't wake up in that dream. We wake up and we are still who we are, and the dream is gone, or we just remember it or write it somewhere. So you don't wake up in that dream, or we don't wake up in any hope. Everybody have the same thing. But if you want something real, that the real thing that is being demanded from you, that real thing that you give to others, that you also demand it. If we want God, we want the real God. We don't want the imitation or fake God or anything, or make something up. This is an invented creation of the Bible. The book has been invented. The God has been invented. The names has been invented. And you spend the rest of your life using that, deluding yourself and deluding others as well. This is a crime of a century, a crime of a terrible crime, and you dare have that spirit, that audacity, and that kind of right authority to condemn someone like me, or condemn somebody who is doing the effort to bring your senses back to yourself, or bring you right, or wake other people who you are continually putting them in a vulnerable state, or people who you are continually victimizing them. The fact that you don't strike them with anything does not mean that you are damning them and harming them mentally, and their soul is being damned, and you are putting them in a very serious situation. You are giving them a temporal happiness, and there's nothing solid and happy. If they were miserable and they know that there's nothing there, at least they are better off. But for them to have hope, knowing that something is there, and ending up and realizing that there's nothing there, that is terrible. That is worse. You can experience it yourself. You have your trust in somebody, and you realize that it is not so. It makes you go ballistic. You know that people, try in your personal life, put a test to it to see if what I'm saying is right or wrong. You have a friend, he was telling you something, and you really think it was real, it was right, and you're looking up to see whatever will happen, and then boom, because you are in a miserable state, and it is worse. It makes you even feel worse. You probably go angry and you fight with a person, or something. You want to kick the person. But if that person would have left you in that miserable state and not strive to come and counsel you with lies and things that are not real, just to sort of try to comfort you, knowing that he's giving you false hope, at the end of the day, there's nothing will come out of it, thinking that will rather change you. It will telling me that sweet story and that feeble stories, which is written in the Bible, of feeble words, feeble words, using those feeble things to sort of get into me, for me to be happy for, let's say, 20 years of my life, or 30 years of my life, or 40 years of my life, and at the end of it, there I am, back to square one, back to the same place, miserable, and even more miserable than ever, regretting ever than I've ever regretted. realizing that, oh, there's nothing in all that I did. What good was that good? What good? 20 years or 40 years or 50 years of my life has been jailed. You have jailed me. You probably didn't put me on the four corners and lock me in, but you jailed me in false hope. Even though I was happy, I was enjoying myself, I was doing all that, because my mind thought that I was happy, everything is okay, it's going to be okay. I mean, I've got what I needed. I made myself believe that, yeah, that's it, and that was what I needed. I don't need that. We want the real thing. We want to be really happy. That is what is called internal happiness, everlasting joy, everlasting happiness. At the end of it, you don't end up having some shocking news to make you regret. You don't end up thinking that it was fake. It was real from the very time you got it. The end of it is going to be real. If you know the truth and you have discovered the truth, is there forever with you. You die in assurance, knowing that if there is death there for you, you die in assurance, knowing that you were not living a lie or a delusion state or some sort of deceptive state. You knew your what is ahead of you. You were facing life squarely as you are supposed to face it, and you went in through with no pulling yourself out. No, this is just by the way. So we have to be. I'm pointing it out because as I'm reading through this, sometimes it's used the other way around to make me and other people who reveal certain mistakes in the book to look evil and bad, because we sort of want to crash down the faith. I don't want to crash down this faith. I want this faith to be proper. I want this faith, Christian faith or Islamic faith, which one the faith is, they are competing. I want to dig out the right one. And I want them to be I want it to be honest to me and everybody. I want the errors that are in there to be openly known. I want to expose any secret that is behind it in order to sort of to bring out the good that is inside it. Maybe they can choose to correct things, but if you correct it, then you must know that it is man that has corrected it, it's not God. I'm also expecting God himself to correct it, because God has got his own pen and paper, he's got his own handwriting, he's got his own ability to do all that. If a man can do that, God can do even better. According to the Bible, it's there also that even if a man knows how to do good, how much more God? God can do better, and I agree. I agree on that terms. I 100% agree that God can do better than a man. If he created us, he can do better than that. So we should not think for God, act for God, do for God. That is completely berserk. It's out of the way. It's really wrong. It's ridiculous. It's very silly and stupid. We cannot do anything. Or what God even doesn't have to send you to do anything for him. If he needs something, he can get it. It can happen just like that. If he wants to give something to somebody, he can just do it. He doesn't need to you being in between or you being there. He can reach out to 1,000 people without your help, 1,000,000 people all over the world without any, your single help or anything from you. He can make you all disappear. He can make us all be there again. This is what we think of God. Now, why can't we stick to that? Why can't we follow through of what we think of, how we define him, and we keep making other things, changing the course, the true and the right course and direction that we are following through? As we read here, so if you have that in your mind, you will not fall into the state where you will think of me in a wrong way or any other person, because then you have to have a clue about the book, and then you read it with an open mind. You read it at whatever is suggested until it is proven. You have to think of it as just a book with stories, compiled stories, and those compiled stories are making suggestions, and you are reading as the suggestions are. You are being honest as it is, as it should be, and you are explaining things as it should be, and that's what I'm doing in order to strengthen my faith. Not a faith in necessarily the Bible, but a faith in God. And if I end up in a situation where it strengthens the God, the true God or the Almighty God, then so be it. I mean, I know that we all want the right thing to be done, so it's no problem. I have nothing to lose, because I'm rather having a lot to gain by doing that than to lose. I'm not going to join the queue of people who are missing it.